So guys, as you know or may have heard, if you're working with Google Ads, Google is trying to make ad creation super easy and super accessible for anybody, okay? So business leaders can create ads directly in the ad manager. Now they've got some AI tools that they've been working on. Initially, they're a bit hit and miss, but they've been working on developing it even more. What's going on, ad gang? It's your boy Jerry the Ad Wizard coming back at you with a brand new video. And today, we're going to be looking at the latest updates directly from Google to give you an insight as to how they're building an AI system to allow images and video creation super easy, super accessible directly in the Google Ad Manager, okay? That's why it's super exciting today for me to bring you the latest insights from Google directly so that you understand how to use these tools and what you need to do to utilize them the best, okay? Because I do think there are some advantages, but I also think there are some disadvantages, okay, guys? Grab your coffees and grab your hats. It's time to spin up some ad magic.
Okay, guys, so I'm going to touch on a lot of different things that have come up in this update that Google have told us about, that we want to bring you the latest tools and features so you know how to utilize these tools the best, so that you know how to get the best out of your Google ads towards the end of 2024. So a lot of these tools are being rolled out slowly. If you're not seeing them yet, then they will appear in your ad account over the next month or two. Okay, so don't worry, guys, because these are brand new preview features and I'm giving you the latest developments that Google are working on, you might see the rollout of some of these tools and processes in your ad account over the next couple of months, right? So I'm giving you these updates so that you can think about it and you can plan a little bit in terms of your Google ads and optimizing them the best that they possibly can be, okay? Guys, the first thing I'm going to be talking about is image generation. As you know, or as you may have seen, Google have been working on AI-powered image generation so that you can create assets directly in the Google ad account. So I'm going to give you some updates now as to what they're working on and how they're making the tools even better and making ad creation even more accessible to the entrepreneurs, to the business owners, and to digital marketeers, right? So I'm going to go through all of the updates and everything that they've told us, and hit me down below if you've got any questions. So within image generation, guys, what this means is that you can generate new images and create new variations based on your top performers using AI, okay? Not needing to go to the creative team to say, hey, these ads are working, let's create more iterations of this, okay? Google is doing that for us, guys. That is very cool. Now, this is the second round that they're kind of working on these tools. The first time round was a bit hit and miss, like I said. I think some of the tools are great. We can see the sparks of inspiration. We can see how these tools may affect our ad creation down the line. They're not as optimized as we might like. I personally have tested around with it, but I haven't given power to the image AI generation because I don't think it's as good as it can be. I personally think that I can do a better job, but they're working on this, guys. Pretty soon, Google is going to be able to create better ads than I am, which is crazy, okay? It means that the accessibility for business owners to create their own ads is, the threshold is getting lower and lower and lower, so that it makes ad creation even more easy. Anybody can plug in their website, create some images, create new best performers, and generate new variations, which is exactly what we want to do because we want to A/B test, we want to see what works, and we want to double down on the things that work and create new variations. This is part of the new tool, okay? You're going to be able to say, Google, this is the top performing asset. It might even recognize what the top performing asset is, and then it will suggest to you some alternatives based on the things that are working already. They are also working on being able to edit the images directly in the ad account. This is one of the problems with the AI image generation tool, is that if you want to change the image at all, there's no way to do that. If it generated some images for you and you're like, oh, okay, these are kind of cool, but I would like to change some things. I'd like to change the background. I'd like to remove some of the objects that it's generated there. I'd like to expand some of the sections of the ad so it has a different aspect ratio, a different composition. You couldn't do that before, but they have listened to us and they are changing that. So now, once the image AI is generated some images, we have the ability, or we will have the ability, to edit them directly in the Google Ad Manager, which I think is amazing. We no longer have the restriction of just saying, hey, this is the AI, this is what the images that the AI has generated. We can now edit them as well, which I think is absolutely mega cool. And actually, I just want to touch on this as well, because that's something else that they mentioned. If you have a Google Merchant Center and you have a lot of products in there, then you can actually also do this. You can also do image editing in the Google Merchant Center directly, right? So without having to edit the image on Photoshop and then re-uploading it, okay, we can directly edit it in the Google Merchant Center. So that's another little tip there. Okay, look out for that. If you guys are managing or running the Google Merchant Center in your e-commerce store or on your website, they're allowing image editing directly on that platform, which I think is absolutely cool, which I fully endorse. I think that's great. Now, another problem that these tools kind of had was the fact that it wasn't always as on brand as we might like it to be. Okay, we want the ad experience to be super seamless. We want the Google ads to harmonize with our customer journey and our website design and our brand guidelines and our tone of voice and everything like that. So this is something else that they've considered and they are building in. Okay, so on brand visuals, guys, this is going to be cool. What you'll have to do is you have to upload into the Google AI some source references, so some images that are branded, and then it will understand the components of this to ensure that any other generations that happen thereafter are very on brand. They're using the same colors, they're using the same specifications that you've given it in your original upload as a source file. Is going to break that down and create other images that are very, very on brand, which I think is really nice. Like, that's something that was missing a little bit. You know, some of the images that it did generate were very generic, I suppose. They're very like stock-like images. It means that we can actually create our images in the look and feel that harmonizes really nicely with our brand and our website and everything else. So you don't have to worry about off-brand visuals anymore, which I think is super good. Okay, guys, this is actually a massive one, okay? You could be thinking, hey, what does global language support even mean? Well, what it means, guys, is that if you're running campaigns on a global level, the AI can actually generate the image and text assets and now in over 60 different languages using AI, right? This makes it super easy to create localized and really relevant ads for each market type that you're targeting without needing, you know, these separate teams for translation and creative generation. Like, you can just tell Google, hey, translate it into this language, and it's going to do that. I think that is groundbreaking, okay? Some of these tools that they're working on, I think is absolutely next level. And this is one of them. This is a really key one, that if you're running ads on a global level and you're attacking different markets that speak different languages, Google's got you sorted. You don't have to run to the creative team and say, hey, can you create me new iterations based in Arabic, based in German, based in whatever, based in French, based in any language. You can create ads using the AI without needing to go to the creative team, which I think, again, is super cool. It makes the accessibility to creating ads even better. The seasonal and promotion campaigns, I think, is also actually quite good. It means that if you are running seasonal or promotional campaigns, you can use the image AI generation to adapt your images to make them look a bit more seasonal, right? To make them look around a certain holiday time, to harmonize with that look and feel around the holidays, around certain sales, around seasonal and promotional campaigns. Google is working on this so that we don't have to. And I think that's absolutely amazing. I think that's really, really cool. Again, we don't quite know as to how vigorous or how accurate this is going to be. But guys, Google is working on it, okay? And that's something that you need to know. This month, next month, or this time next year, this is coming. And it means that you can adjust your images and your ads based on the seasons, if that's applicable to you, or based on sales promotions. If you're running Black Friday sales or whatever, it's going to create certain assets that are very resonant of those sales. As I mentioned, the accessibility and usability to these tools is becoming very accessible. Whether you're a big business or a small business, honestly, these tools are getting rolled out across all ad accounts, which means that you can create like really high quality ads and creative without bothering your creative teams or anything else. You can create those things directly in the ad manager, okay? That is freeing and liberating as an ad manager. We don't need to go back and forth to the creative teams to create new variations. We can just do everything ourselves in the Google Ad Manager. The testing and optimization aspect of things, I did touch on a little bit, but it means that one of the best things that you can use some of these AI tools for is to test new variations of those creatives in your campaigns directly, okay? Very nice. It allows us to see which ones are working, using the data to optimize, hey, what's working best, what's not working so well. Let's double down on the things that are working, okay? The testing and optimization sections are also being optimized and upgraded so that you can see which images are most resonant to your audiences, and you can then optimize accordingly, right? So again, even though we're using these AI tools, it gives us the power to still see what's going on, to still understand and look at the data and make those decisions, and then guiding the AI tool to say, hey, this is what I want. How can you do it? And it'll say, yeah, this is what you do. And it'll create us for us. And the next section I want to draw your attention to, guys, is the AI video enhancements. Okay, we just went through the AI image enhancements. Really cool. Now, video AI enhancements are also getting activated. Now, video is slightly more complex, so the updates here aren't as strong, but we can foresee that especially within the next year, as AI video becomes more and more prevalent, that we'll be able to utilize some of these tools to even create new iterations of video ads within Google. So something I speak highly about all the time is obviously giving a lot of leverage and a lot of power to the ad AIs to go and find us better results, depending on what placement or what platform is going to resonate best with the audience. We don't particularly mind. We just want to get those conversions, those sales, those leads, and achieve our objectives, right? And giving a lot of leverage and power to the ad AI now means that it can crop, much like with the auto placements on Meta, they can now crop videos depending on the platforms that it's being shown on, right? Again, increasing the effectiveness without us needing to create new variations of new sizes directly in the ad manager, and the AI tools are going to help us do that. And I think that's really exciting. We can cut out important aspects. This one's a good one, guys, because if you've got longer form videos and you want to create short videos, this is a groundbreaker, okay? You're now able to create short form content from your long form content using the AI video generator. So AI will be able to identify the most engaging moments of the video and present to you some different variants of short form content. So you can adapt it for YouTube Shorts, for TV ads, etc. Right? So these are typically where video ads are being shown most. I hear a lot of different campaigns use video ads, but where they're being placed is YouTube, is TV, all those kind of things. Now, using long form video, the video AI generator can suggest to us short form videos that we can use as YouTube short ads and everything else. That's very exciting. I think depending on the accuracy, obviously you want to play around with them. You may be using tools already in order to cut down your longer form videos to create short snippets. Okay. This is basically what Google is trying to embed now into their ad managers so that you can do it directly in the ad manager. You don't need to use external tools. This obviously allows you to get way more traction on the current content that you have. You don't need to go and ask your video team to create new iterations or renditions of short form videos. Okay, how vigorous this will be, I'm not too sure. We like to obviously use transcriptions. We obviously like to use subtitles and things on top of, for example, YouTube Shorts, so that anybody watching with the sound off can still read what's going on. Whether or not those kind of functions will still be there, I'm not sure. But don't forget, guys, this is in development. So 100% Google is reflecting and contemplating this, because ultimately, if you're using external AI tools to generate these things, and Google knows that, and Google can facilitate that, why would Google want you to go anywhere else? So Opus Clip, all these other tools that allow you to create short form content, Google is now allowing you to directly create those short form videos in the ad manager. And I think that's cool. Whether or not how vigorous that'll be against something like Opus Clip we'll have to wait and see, but that's something they're working on. Something I mentioned is obviously the hit and miss aspect of some of these AI tools. Sometimes I think they're quite good, and sometimes I think they're really, really bad. But they've put in additional quality assurance measures to ensure that all the content it does produce is on brand, is visually appealing, and all these kind of other aspects that we would look at as marketeers or as designers to say, hey, this is the thing, we need to amend this, we need to create a new composition, we need to adjust it slightly. The video AI generation can understand what make a video really great and then optimize accordingly. An additional quality checker step, that's super important because it allows the AI systems to be a lot more accurate and allows less work on our side to have to go and check, okay, this is okay, but we do need to make some adjustments. Additional quality checks ensure that we don't have to do that. And the last thing I think is really cool here is the fact that the AI tools is going to automatically dive into the data of your videos to learn what's working well for your viewers, so that it can suggest video content based on that without you needing to identify it yourself. It's going to give you those suggestions using the data so that you can make even more impactful videos, right, for your audience. Google is going to suggest to you what it thinks you should do to double down on the things that work. And that, guys, again, it's taking a lot of that heavy burden out as an ad manager to double down on the things that work. It just makes things easier for us, right? We can look at it. Google says, hey, maybe under the recommendation section, it'll say, hey, look, try this. And we look at it and go, oh, actually, it's really on brand. It's really nice. It's really nice composed. It's really nicely shot and put together. Okay, let's try it. Let's run it. And then obviously Google knows exactly what is going to work. So utilizing that data and those insights is going to create us some new video ads depending on what is working already. And yeah, that's all being automated, guys. Okay, guys, let's move on to PMax. One of our favorite campaign types, if I'm really honest. I think PMax is absolutely great. Obviously, PMax use heavy AI, and now I'm going to bring you the latest features that Google have been working on in order to maximize the creatives in our Performance Max campaigns. Okay, so if you're not utilizing PMax Performance Max and you want to utilize PMax Performance Max, then definitely check this section out, okay? Pay close attention to what is going to happen here, guys, because Google is working really hard to ensure that PMax is still bringing us amazing results. And with some of the previous examples, the first thing that they've built in is the brand guidelines in PMax, okay? So to ensure that brand identity obviously stays consistent across all the ads, even the ones that are automatically generated, you can add in your custom brand colors, your custom fonts, and all those kind of things. And then the PMax campaign is going to optimize around your branding, okay? So it's going to, again, create that seamless experience. You're going to know any AI tools that generate content or creative for us.
Okay, guys, but before we go anywhere else, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that notification bell so you never miss any more important updates. I'm Jerry the Ad Wizard, and we are here many times a week to bring business owners, entrepreneurs, and digital marketeers to get the best from their online ads, paid media, and digital marketing strategies. But without further ado, let's get on with the video.
Is going to be really resonant to our brand guidelines. And I think that's important. It's not the biggest update here, and I will go through a bigger one, but it's something that they've obviously identified as a problem area. And I think that's good as long as we can go double down and make that ad journey a seamless experience. I think that's great. It means that you can kind of automate a lot of things with the knowledge that your brand isn't being lost, okay? That you still have control over your brand and your brand specifics or your brand guidelines. This is something that I'm very happy about. Sometimes our clients say, okay, well, what do our ads look like? Or we need to share previews, okay? With PMax, obviously, because it's AI and they utilize a lot of different variations, it's a multimedia campaign, that we can't really share what these ads look like because they look different depending on who's seeing them, right? But that's something that Google has also paid attention to and something that they have worked on so that now we can, like with other ads, click that share button, see a preview that we can then share with the client directly so that they can see what the ads look like and they can give us their quality assurance as well. So that's something I'm very happy about. It was a bit of a problem or issue. You'd normally have to do screenshots and things like this, but obviously that doesn't account for video and stuff, which PMax obviously uses. That's something really great. It means that we can get feedback from the client, make adjustments if we need to, and all those kind of things, which was a little bit more difficult, but they built that in, and I think that's really cool. Guys, I think this is the biggest one, okay? This is the biggest update on PMax, okay? If you're utilizing PMax or you have utilized PMax, okay? How annoying is it when you have a PMax campaign and you have all your assets in there, in your asset group, okay? And you can't see what's working best. How annoying is that? That is, we want to see the data, man. We want to double down on the stuff that works and reduce the stuff that doesn't. But with PMax, you never have that opportunity, okay? Because it's such an AI-driven campaign that it doesn't tell you any of the data. It just says, hey, let us do the work, man. You don't need to see the data. Now they're letting us see the data. Well done, Google. This is groundbreaking for PMax, okay? It's such a little thing, but for so long, we've been operating with PMax without the understanding of what is working well within our assets. And, we want to swap out the things that are working and things that aren't, much like with any other campaign. And with PMax, because it's so AI-driven, we don't have the view or accessibility. Google have heard our commands, and they have said, hey, man, we are going to do that for you. I think that's really awesome, guys. Honestly, that gives us an additional window into PMax, and I think it allows us to optimize and understand generating revenue, how things are affecting the bottom line, etc., utilizing the data in PMax to inform those decisions. And I think that's great. Now, they did say a little bit about customization options. It kind of touches a little bit on the brand guidelines in this way. I don't think it's super groundbreaking this particular point because they're saying, but it does harmonize with the brand guidelines aspect in PMax because you might have a brand font that isn't available in the image or video generation AI, but with this particular point, they're adding in more Google fonts, more colors, so that you can really resonate your brand around the things that are super brand specific and around your brand guidelines. So I thought I'd just touch on this a little bit because we have touched on it in previous, but it's just another upgrade to say, if you are using a more obscure font in your brand guidelines, that Google has you covered. They are utilizing more of the Google fonts in order to ensure that you can create and generate image assets and videos based on the brand guidelines, even if your brand guidelines are a little bit obscure or nuanced. Google has you covered, man, so that is cool. There are also some specialized tools coming for retail and travel and the goals that you might set within that industry, okay? So if you're working in retail or you're working in travel, do a bit more digging into this because actually within your sector, within your industry, PMax is being upgraded. So whether you're driving bookings or driving in-store traffic, these features will help you maximize your impact across Google's entire network, okay? So if you're operating in the retail or travel industry, check out the latest updates there. I'm going to briefly touch on it now, but they are working on additional tools to allow bookings and in-store traffic goals to be more optimized, okay, within PMax. So that's very interesting. If you are operating in that industry, check it out, do a bit more research and see how PMax can harmonize and create even better results for you in Google Ads. I think that's something very exciting, and potentially they could be rolling out more industry-specific trends and goals for everybody else. But they started on retail, obviously, and they started on travel, which I think is a slightly lower lift project for them. versus some of the other industries that people might be promoting on Google. Now, guys, let's go on to search creatives. Okay, who here is creating a search campaign? Let's get into the weeds of what's these AI tools and how they're going to upgrade search campaigns for us, because a lot of you hopefully are using search campaigns. If you're not, start thinking about how you can utilize some of these AI tools to create a search campaign, because PPC, the old classic, they are upgrading it with search creatives. Now, you may have heard me say many times, say, hey, I didn't realize that search had creatives. Well, guys, like, you have to check in on the campaign after it's been running for a while. Okay, typically, when you first start the search campaign, it won't allow you to upload any images. But after 2 weeks, it does. Okay, so you need to let your search campaign run for a couple of weeks, and then you have the ability to add images. Not everybody knows that, but they're upgrading that even further, okay, to include search creatives within some of this optimization and these upgrades. So I'm going to go through all of the specs as to what is happening with our search campaigns so that we can maximize and optimize them the best. So automatically created assets, aka ACAs. Google is going to be referring to these as ACAs going forward. Automatically created assets, I will refer to them as automatically created assets, ACAs. It's a new term. You'll get used to it very quickly. Automatically created assets is obviously a big upgrade that Google is trying to do across many campaigns that we've been talking about, but they were going to be referring it to as ACAs going forward. So automatically created assets aren't specifically creative focused, but headlines and descriptions based on your landing page content is something that Facebook wants to optimize within search, okay? So it's going to be able to give you really good and high quality suggestions based on that, which saves us time, it saves us effort. And actually, some advertisers already testing this out are seeing a 5% increase on the results they're getting utilizing some of this stuff, okay? So they're making it even stronger. You may see when you go into your search campaign, the suggestions and things like this on ad headlines, but it's becoming even more vigorous, even more compelling to use these tools to make it even more accurate to drive those results for your business. So guys, pay attention to this. If you're running a search campaign and look at the suggestions and things like this, that is also getting upgraded to be even better than it currently is. You may sometimes see that the suggestions are a little bit hit or miss or okay. We really want to tap into the things that are even better, okay? And sometimes those suggestions are okay. But now, guys, rest assured, Google have heard our demands and said, hey, we'll give you even better quality on those. So that's very exciting. Make sure that you keep a lookout for that in your search campaigns. So guys, as we know, okay, we need to constantly check in on the ad managers to ensure that the underperforming assets are being turned off, to ensure that we're doubling down on the things that work. And within this particular point, what the AI will do is manage those assets for us, okay? We could see maybe in the recommendations section that some of the recommendations are going to be around, hey, this is an underperforming asset. We recommend turning it off. If we haven't seen it, we haven't checked in on the campaign in a little while, those recommendations are going to come to us and Google's going to say, this asset is underperforming, right? You need to change it up. Do you want to disable it? And that means that we can keep our ads optimized without needing to constantly check on them, which I think is great. I think, again, making ad management a lot easier, a lot more accessible. That recommendation section is going to get a lot more built out. So you check out those recommendation sections is going to give you a lot more data and a lot more understanding as to what's working, what you can do to optimize your ads more without going into every single campaign at the campaign level to check the ad strength, to check the asset. Okay, they're giving a lot more power to the recommendation section as your source of truth in what you need to do to upgrade your campaign. So again, cool. I think accessibility and ease of that is nice to see an upgrade on there. I just wanted to touch on this as a best practice for ACAs. Make sure that you keep your website updated. Okay, that's one of the things, because it's looking at your website for AI generated assets like headlines and descriptions. It's going to look at your website to optimize those further. So if you keep your website up to date, it means that your ads are staying on brand and relevant to the page that it's driving to. Again, it's not a huge point this, but it's something that obviously we are keeping our websites updated just for you to know that the ad AI is also looking at that and giving us suggestions. Depending on if we make any changes on the website, it's going to give us new suggestions. Previously, we would have had to change the website and then change the headline or description copy or the assets manually. Now it's going to see that there's an update on your website and it's going to suggest new assets based on the new website that it sees. So that's just a little point of consideration, guys. It's not huge, but it makes, again, our lives a little bit easier. There's a lot less manual work for it now. Okay, guys, as most of you know or have experience chatting with an AI and guiding an AI with your prompts and your communications, okay, you may have tested or experienced some of that in beta. Google launched this a little while ago, the conversational experience, okay, but they really doubled down on this and upgraded this a lot, okay? This means that now we can chat to the Google AI, you can just type in and interact with them. Something I've always said for a little while, I said eventually I'll get to a point where all you need to do is add your website URL and Google is going to generate everything for you. And this is another step towards that, okay? Enter website URL within the chat system, within the conversational experience. And then the AI will help you generate optimized headlines and descriptions and assets, even site links, which I think is good, to make sure that the campaigns are super effective, a lot more user-friendly and simple for us as ad managers to go and do that. So conversational experience, again, lowering the bar to entry, making these tools super accessible to the point where you just need to add in your website URL and it's going to give you suggestions on what it thinks you should do. Okay, the conversational experience is getting upgraded in Google Ads. Eventually, we'll just be able to talk to the Google Ads system and it will be able to generate everything for us. This is a little while away yet, but this is in a move towards that. Again, lowering the bar to entry so that business owners, entrepreneurs, and all digital marketeers can create ads easily and effectively. So pay attention to this, guys. More updates probably coming on this soon. And yeah, they have upgraded it in this latest update. Okay, as I mentioned towards the beginning of Search Creatives, you had to normally wait 2 weeks before you can add any images into your search campaigns, but now they're updating it. They're updating it even more. The Google Ads AI will basically predict when it thinks that images are going to boost your performance. It will give you a recommendation to do so. And then us as advertisers, we can upload up to 4 images into our search campaigns from the get-go. This is again slowly being rolled out. If you create a search campaign now, you may have this option, you may not yet, but know that in the upcoming, that search campaigns are going to be able to have the ability to add in 4 image assets from the get-go, okay? They understand that search ads are becoming a lot more visually appealing now. This means that we can maximize our search campaigns using images and allow us to upload 4 images from the get-go, which obviously will increase our ad effectiveness, will increase user engagement, all those kind of nice things. This is a really, really minor point, but does actually affect how your search ads are being promoted within your search campaigns. Add in your business name, add in your business logo, okay, which we weren't able to do before. That allows for instant brand recognition and all those kind of nice things. This was definitely missing and something that people are reporting already that have tried this feature, around 8% difference in the search campaigns that they're using, being able to add in their brand assets, their logos and their brand name and things like this. Users understand the affiliation of the brand and it actually increases the engagement and the resonation with those people. So again, Google is trying to look at areas whereby we can increase ad performance. And this is a really small one, but it affects things. It really does. It really affects the effectiveness of our ads. So I think it's cool. I very much welcome that, and hopefully you do too. Okay, guys, next section, image and business assets. This is a little roundup on some of the things I have covered, but I'm going to go through each one just to reinforce some of those things and just so that you know exactly what to expect in the upcoming on Google Ad Manager. So 1, image assets in search ads. Obviously, I've mentioned that means that we can add in image assets into search ads straight away, which makes them stand out even more and capture even more attention. And I think that's really cool. Okay, dynamic images. Obviously, Google is now able to pull images directly from your website automatically, which means that the images that you're using are directly connected to your website, which makes that resonation and that ad journey even more seamless from the ad directly to your website or landing page. And I think that's cool too. Something new that I haven't touched on actually is the collage format for images. That means you can upload up to 3 different images, lets you show up to 3 different images in one ad. If you've got multiple products or services, this is the perfect way to highlight each of those and it will increase the engagement on our ads. Okay, more to come on this, but yeah, if you can see within your ad creation that you have this tool already, experiment around with it. I think this is quite exciting. I'm not sure what the results will be, but again, they're looking at ways to enhance our ads, and this is one of those things that we should be doing. Again, the business information in search ads, adding your business logo, adding your business name means the ad resonation is even stronger and increases engagement on your ads. And following this point is that if you change your branding, if you change anything, Google is going to pull that information directly from your website or landing page and will automatically change the logo and change the brand name, etc. So again, a minor point, but going into the previous point there, that's something again that's being automated a little bit more, which means that styling across all the different campaigns just stays consistent. You don't need to worry about if the brand changes at all to change all the campaigns and etc. Google is going to do that automatically for us.
And that's it for today, guys. Hopefully that gives you a little bit of insight as to how you can use these tools and how the tools are developing. Okay, this is coming directly from Google themselves. I have to reference all of the material to Google directly because they are the ones that told me, okay? All of this comes from Google. If you're thinking about running PMax, running search, utilizing some of these tools, don't forget to consider some of these tools because it could make your ad creation and your creative cycles a lot easier. Okay, you're not needing to tap into the creative teams to get new directors to make new content. These AI tools are making the accessibility to create ads, to create new iterations easier than ever, right? So hopefully that was useful today, guys. Hit me up any comments below if you've got any questions. I'd love to hear what you think. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe. I'm Jerry the Ad Wizard. You can follow me at Jerry Dreadlocks, Jerry Griffiths on LinkedIn, at Jerry Ad Wizard on Insta and TikTok, and at Jerry Dreadlocks everywhere else. If you'd like to watch a video on how to utilize a search campaign and a process to create a search campaign to the best possible best practice, click up here. And if nothing else and you made it this far, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. I'm Jerry the Ad Wizard, and wherever you are in the world, I bid you peace, love, and a wonderful rest of your day. And as always, I will catch you in the next one.